flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we have the roll call, we need to ask some people to the roll call. We have two people who get sworn in tonight. We have Ken, who's retaining his seat, and we have Leslie, who's a new member. So Alan, are you ready?
Please rise. What's the name?
Leslie has one.
We got a Bible there.
I got it.
Really? Well, you can put your hand on the Bible if you want. You swear or affirm that you will obey the Constitution and laws of the United States of America and of the state of Ohio, and the ordinances, resolutions, and regulations of the village of Chippewa Lake, and that you will honestly, impartially, and faithfully fulfill your duties as council member of the village.
I do.
Very good. Welcome aboard. Again.
I want to compliment Leslie on running for this office. You know, over the years, there's been a number of people that, maybe criticized us, though I can't imagine it. And, you know, wanted things changed and everything, but very few of them, not hardly any, have put their name on the ballot and been wanting to run for office. So I give Leslie high credit for doing that. Thank you. Okay, now we will do the roll call.
Bud.
Present.
Barr.
Here.
Alan Robbins.
Present and accounted for.
Talent.
Here.
Ken.
Present.
Leslie.
Here.
Alan Michelson.
Here.
Jim.
Here.
Matt.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, you've had time to read the minutes. If there's no questions or corrections, we need a motion to,
So moved.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have the bills. Are there any additions to the bills here?
Yes, two late additions to the bills. Lafayette Township for December road salting, 6 hours, $570. Medina County Sheriff for the 2024 dispatch fee, $1,871.88. Total revised amount, $73,399.84.
I move that the bills be paid as listed and amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, since it's January, we have to start out with electing a council president. And we know that our council president, we had forever, it seemed like, is no longer a member of the council. Therefore, I open the floor for nominations.
I nominate Timothy.
I second.
Are there any other nominations? What's so funny?
I move the nominations be closed.
Okay, all in favor of Tamitha for council president?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Tamitha.
Gotta do something right.
Look more pleased, Tamitha. Don't be scared. I'll try to stay healthy. Okay, and I want to take a minute to thank Tamitha, Ken, Mark, everyone involved in the Christmas program that was very successful, as far as I could tell. We had a lot of people here, so I know you want to report more about that.
I wasn't here.
Oh,
You was not.
I heard you helped do something.
No.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I thought she showed up for breakfast at the very end.
Ate some candy.
Yeah,
So you're part of the cleanup crew.
that's it.
Something, I know.
The bacon
you got
needed
something.
cleaned up.
Hey, he'll do anything for a free breakfast.
Okay, we'll go to safety, Alan.
Yeah, we have Deputy Harvey here on his day off.
Oh.
I passed out the December hours for 66, miles logged for 416, gallons of fuel 20.2. Hours worked, RA 17. Cornelius is still out on medical issues. King 25, Yarborough 24, total of 66 hours. We talked about scheduling for next year. We're down to essentially two deputies. We have Deputy Small, who was kind of a backup person, with Cornelius out since April. No real clear idea that he will actually ever be able to come back. So with that in mind, Deputy Harhay, Kevin Ross are putting feelers out for in the spring. We'll add one more deputy. And with our four, that should give us plenty of coverage as we go through the year.
Yarborough replaced Schmall, just so you're aware, so that's one.
That's right. Okay. So that's that. I did give you a bigger, broader spread. I'm not gonna read all that. That's in favor of that, but people don't know what a year activities look like. I get the report from dispatch, I put it in, and then I sterilize it down just to the things that are perfect for that particular month. But I opened up that spreadsheet so you can see what everything looks like overall from an activity standpoint. So, but I'll just read what was happening this month. Alarm activated the Berkeley entry 2. Civil paper service 1, animal complaint barking dog, loose canine 2, disturbance or fight 2, squad or ambulance 8, theft larceny 1, extra patrol 63, Victor watches 9, that's vacation people that are out. That's actually down from 46 the previous month, so I'm not quite sure if people come back for the holiday or not. Suspicious person or vehicle 1. Assist other agencies 1. Building checks 3. Fraud identity, no, I'm sorry. Fraud identity at 1. Suspicious circumstances 1. Traffic stops 1. Total of 96 for the month. Anything that you wanted to bring to highlight off of the December report? Any questions from the council?
I don't know what you would consider vandalism, but we did have some kids up here, and I have it on the cameras that they were smashing bricks in the parking lot. I think they're the community garden bricks that were beside the shed.
Did you call us?
I did not, I knew I'd see it, I looked at it
If
Thursday.
you want to have it recorded, I'll call dispatch and I'll have somebody.
I didn't know where it would fall as far as,
Well, if you called it in, then, a deputy would respond. Mandatory. It could be a deputy or.
Do those for them. If you feel it's damage to the property, call us. If you think that it's going on, it's up to you if you want to call us or not.
and then was somebody on council, whoever has access to the sheds, left the old shed unlocked, it was closed but unlocked, and the kids were goofing around the one day, same kids. They kicked the door, they opened the door, they looked in, they didn't go in, they looked in, and then they left, but left the door open, ajar. So somebody on council opened the shed and didn't relock it.
Well,
Tamitha found it unlocked and locked it. Tamitha and Matt found it.
I appreciate that. Well, to that point, any of that kind of issue, if you can identify it at the activity time, if it's on video, let's say, it's helpful if we can identify that, and if it's appropriate, Deputy RA or whoever, if we can identify the perpetrators, it helps us stop future problems. They don't think that anybody's watching, and we are watching, so.
I can meet you up here sometime when you're on shift, and if you,
Just call, when you want to report a call, don't call like me, because I'm on midnight shift, I may not be working, call the sheriff's office. Tell them you need to make a report, and a deputy will come out to either your media or your house, and we'll do a report.
So we'll just at least document it.
Right,
Okay.
and whenever you wanna,
I'll try to call tomorrow.
You have my surveillance then, right?
Yeah, it's all on camera.
all in on the week shift, good copy of the video, take a look at it, and it'll be entered as a report, so we can have it documented. But just call the dispatch number, and if you wanna meet at your house, fine, if you wanna meet here, because the cameras are here, that's fine.
Okay, I'll take care of that. Thank you.
The report that I give is only what goes through dispatch.
Right, I didn't say anything that, I notified the mayor, but I didn't say anything to anybody else, because I knew we were close enough to the meeting. I mean, and it wasn't, it was mischief, but, property damage, they're breaking bricks in the parking lot. It's the same kids I told you about that were up here in the summer.
I encourage, and I said, if you don't report it, we don't know about it, so, and you don't have to wait, don't call the mayor, don't call Alan, if you have his number, you can call the non-emergency number 725-6631, and, we'll come out, meet with you with whatever the issue may be, and take a report.
Thank
That's
you.
one of my biggest complaint about anything is, a lot of people call the mayor or Alan or whoever else, and then they call me at home and I may be off. Just call the sheriff's office main number and we'll come out and do a report. If somebody racing around on four-wheelers, whatever it may be, call dispatch. That way we can come out. We may have somebody sitting right off the road, that can respond right away.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Barb. Anything from the audience? Thank you.
Yep.
We do have an agreement for police services that we can finalize. We can go through the proper approval process for that. Michaelson.
Let me find it here. I thought that was approved. Guess not, huh?
The final numbers weren't in place.
Oh, right, this is the final with the amendments. Okay. We need an ordinance number.
$892-24.
892-24. Okay, first reading would be an ordinance approving the 2024 contract for police services with the Medina County Sheriff and Medina County Commissioners as amended and declaring the same an emergency.
So we need a motion to waive the three readings,
Correct.
declare this an emergency.
Second,
Who made the motion?
Bud.
Oh. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Need a motion to adopt the ordinance as an emergency.
So move.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Opposed?
Very good. I'll get that to Gary.
The new contract rate is $32.99 an hour, and gotten great compliments from the deputies and others for support to them. Then we have Chief Brian Capital with us today. Little communication problem on my side. I'll send out his report tomorrow.
Good evening. We had 71 calls for service in Lafayette this past month. 2 were in Chatham, 3 for the city of Medina, 1 in Harrisville Township, 51 in Lafayette Township, 1 in Medina Township, 7 in Chippewa Lake, 4 in Glory Glens, 1 in Seville, and 1 in York Township. 41 of those were daytime calls and 30 were nighttime calls. Our average turnout time is 1 minute and 53 seconds. 62% of those were EMS calls, which is typical. And our average response to the scene is 5 minutes and 20 seconds, which is about almost 2.5 minutes below the national average, which is great. So, doing good stuff there. We gave mutual aid to Medina City 3 times. We gave mutual aid to Seville once, to Chatham twice, and Harrisville Township, we gave them mutual aid once. We gave York Township mutual aid and Medina Township mutual aid. And we received mutual aid one time this past month. Our visit with Santa was very well received this year. We visited 150 homes, so thank you to all who participated, and thank you especially to Mr. Hardesty, Scott O'Ring, and Mr. Mercola, who played a significant role in that day. So we appreciate that. So thank you. Our department members completed the National Traffic Incident Management course, a 10-hour course. They will prepare our firefighters to respond safely to roadway incidents. Christian Hall completed his EMS instructor course, and he'll be taking his state test in a few weeks. Cody Uniac completed his Ohio Fire Officer Credentialing Program, which is a big deal. It's through the Ohio Fire Chiefs. He's credentialed as an Ohio Fire Officer now, which is great. We have 3 people taking Fire Officer Level 1, which is Andrew Berger, Allison Jablos, and Alex Thomas. And Kelly Parker, our veterinarian, who is now becoming a firefighter, is a great lady. She's gonna start firefighter 1 this next week, actually. So, and we had a horse rescue this past month. I don't know if you guys saw the last time we had to pick up a horse on Facebook, but we had to pick up this horse. It took about 6 guys, but Kelly Parker came to the horse rescue this last time, and it took 1 person, Kelly Parker, who just moved the leg, popped that horse right back up. So it's nice to have a vet on the fire department, so saves our backs. We received a $1,000 grant from Otarma Police and Fire, and we also received a $500 Otarma grant, Otarma More grant. We applied to the Ohio Fire Marshal's Equipment Grant for $14,000 for personal protective equipment. And we received vacuum mattresses through the Hiller Foundation. Those are mattresses packed for for packaging patients, which is going to be very helpful. We inspected the Medina County Country Club Hood System. Roadside inn is closed until further notice, as many of you guys know. The building department terminal and reopening will happen. A vehicle struck that building last month. And our Explorer is going to need a catalytic converter, which we already got that fixed, and that's about it. Any questions for me? Yes, ma'am.
From where or what, from what do you rescue a horse?
So this horse, it's a good horse. I'm gonna tell you a horse story right now, so it's gonna take a while. No, I'm just kidding. So this horse, it's very old. It's about 30-some years old. It's heavy, and I guess it just lays down, and it does not want to get back up. So they call us occasionally. I think I've been out there twice now, but this is the first time literally Kelly walked up and she kicked the leg, and I told her later, I said, hey, can't get patience. But she kicked the leg of this horse, and this horse just popped right up, so it was great. Last time it took us about 6 people and backboards and everything else, and I'm like, what?
That's fun.
So, yeah, so they call fairly regularly, and actually Dr. Parker Kelly talked to them about veterinary services and unfortunately end of life care for that horse, because it is an old horse, and it's probably on its last leg, no pun intended.
I think usually you hear about the fire department rescuing the cat from the tree.
Yeah, we've done that a couple times since I've been here too, so.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Your EMS guys came out to my neighbor's place because he had a seizure on New Year's Eve. Inadvertently, they backed into his front yard.
I heard about that.
And they got stuck. And had to get a tow truck to get them out at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
However, at 7 o'clock the next morning, they were out there to fix the damage that they did to his front yard, and we really appreciate the way you guys respond to that.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what, we made sure that we were gonna fix that. And, he's a nice gentleman, and he was having a bad day, and, we thought we were able to, and our poor driver, who's a younger guy, had a bad day too. I got a call about 10 minutes before New Year's and said, just call Lloyd's and we'll see when they can get out there. So they did, and then the next morning we were able to get out there, and actually we went out there a couple times just to make sure we got it all cleared up. And
It looks great.
yeah, good.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Anything else?
Any others from the audience? The fire department is an integral part of the polar bear for safety in the water, chopping the ice, plus safety for the event. I keep forgetting that Brian is the new chief, so we're bringing him up to speed, but he's very good about management. He's already recruited Dave Young, we started with all, so thank you, and thank you for the work that you do for Fuller.
Yes, sir.
Thank
You guys doing a pancake breakfast this year?
Yes, ma'am, that'll be in April, all the Sundays in April. Yep. I'm ready for that too, which that'll be my first pancake breakfast as the chief. I know it's a busy time.
Thank you both for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Take the rest of your day.
Have a good evening.
I'm gonna backtrack here for a minute instead of going right to zoning. I forgot to announce the 2024 committees. So there's not too many changes. All the committee has stayed the same, well, almost. So safety committee is Alan Robbins, Barb Hunter, and Bud Hardesty. There's no change on that committee. Parks committee is Ken Denver's chairperson, Leslie Burns, and Tabitha Sorge. And financial planning, that's that kind of new committee we put on with to go with Gary. So that's Bud Hardesty and Alan Robbins, with Gary basically as our fiscal officer being the head of financial planning. Streets, Bud Hardesty is now our streets chairperson, with Alan Robbins, and Tabitha Sorge is your new member on that. Building and utilities, Barb is the chairperson, Alan Robbins, and Leslie Burns replaces Tabitha on that committee. Zoning, our chairperson is Leslie Burns, and all council members are on the zoning board. Our zoning inspector, I didn't ask you guys if you want to keep doing this, but I'm assuming and hoping that our zoning inspector, Jim Brandenburg, with Matt Sorge as assistant. You guys still want to do it?
Nominations should close.
There was no nominations involved in that. Community relations and kids program, Tabitha Sorge is chairperson, Barb Hunter and Ken Demeter are her committee. Actually, Alan's still our law director. We did have a village maintenance position. It is now open. So Bill Glassnap is retiring from that spot, but thanks for all you've done, Bill.
We have to accept his retirement.
Well, I think his shoulder says it's time.
Anybody give him a watch?
No, we're not getting him in. Same as what his pay was. But thank you, Bill, for all you've done.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm sure something will need to be done, and you'll be running out there with Keith helping you probably.
Probably.
Okay, so Gary, make a copy of this and get it all to you so you know what committee you're on. Thank you all for that. Now we will go to zoning. Leslie?
You have anything to report?
Oh, I don't have anything to report. I did do a little bit of research, which I'll share with Alan, on those vacant parcels at Chippewa and Garmin. I did see that there was a previous oil and gas lease there, so I printed all that data for you.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that. Where was it leaking?
Lease, there's a
Oh,
lease.
lease, okay. That makes sense.
Is that on all of them or just some of them or what?
Well, I only did research on the two corner parcels that were in question a couple months ago, so, and everything's here.
You don't have a zoning report?
Well, not really. I just have the two that are hanging over my head.
And how do those stand?
9 Parkway Path, I met with the chief building inspector and we did a walk through the house. He did a report and he issued an education, how do you say that?
Adjudication.
Adjudication letter. He sent to the homeowner and gave him until the 20th of this month to have everything corrected. So I spoke with Alan earlier and he has, go ahead and fill in the blanks.
Yeah, this order is what we need as proof that it is an unsafe structure, that it represents a hazard, and that it should be taken down or corrected. And in this order, Richard Nelson, the head of the building department, gave the owner until January 20th to do something. So when January 20th comes and goes, it's eligible for demolition. So I prepared the notice of demolition, if that's the way you want to go with it. The earliest we could post this and serve it, et cetera, is January 21st. And the order itself gives them another 30 days to do something about it, or the village can have it removed. So my question to council is, do you want to proceed on this timeline? It's been like this for a long, long time, this house. And it just gets worse, because I noticed in this report, the chimney is now fallen into the back of the building and caused structural damage to rafters. That's one of the things that he cites in determining that it's unsafe, cannot be occupied, and it should be either fixed or taken down.
So the demolition would be at the village's expense and there's
Yes,
tax
and
lien?
we can put the cost on the tax bill, but I believe there's a small mortgage on the property. I have to notify the mortgage holder too.
I was involved heavily with a similar thing with the Buck residents on Craggy Creek. And we did get a budget for the demolition. And then secondary to that was, maybe, I'm not sure if this has a basement, Bucks had a basement, so we had to fill back in that open area to make it a safe area. So I think first steps is maybe, and maybe Bud or Jim knows who could do a good quote for demolition, at least so we know what our numbers are. Bucks was in the $12,000 to $15,000 range, but that was probably 15 years ago.
That was done at the same time that the first McCabe Creek project was done, and they backfilled the basement with the stuff that they dug out of the creek. So the basement.
Yeah, I didn't know all the.
Yeah. But it was done at the same time
Across
as
the
the
street
creek
from
project.
it, it took us 2 or 3 years, because it was in a court scenario at the same time.
A legal mess.
Yeah, so this is, if we could get a budget, so we know what our numbers are.
Don't forget Leslie's zoning.
I'm sorry?
Leslie is now zoning chair.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So, you know, we would just have to put the numbers together. Secondarily to that is, Alan would have to advise us, because the Buck property had a whole bunch of other stuff on it. So if you do all that work, what do? You know, the claim to taxes, who has title, there's a whole bunch of other legal ramifications that I don't think you can, want to get it done, but I don't think you can do it on a January 20th or 21st time.
Well, that's when we can give the notice, and it's 30 days from that, it's eligible, and it's open-ended, you can do it in February, March, whatever. But I know who the owner is, he used to talk to me a lot. The mortgage, I don't know anything about, other than it looks like there's a mortgage on it from county records, but I'm sure they'll be in touch with me as soon as they get a notice that the property is gonna be demolished. There may be nothing due on it, I don't know, there's no cancellation filed. And as far as it's on a single lot, and I had one of these in Gloria Glens pretty recently, and it was $10,000 or $12,000 for the takedown and the cleanup.
That was what I was thinking, but I had no idea what new numbers, new world order. 12 to 15 was minimum what I had in mind, but.
Well, this is
That's a guess.
Or, yeah, I have a couple contractors that can look at it.
Yeah, and I know one as well,
right.
even though I'm no longer a zoning.
Coordinate that.
But
Well, you're
that,
on the committee.
that was the cost Gloria Glens had, like within the last couple of years.
This house is on a slab, it's a story and a half.
Okay,
It's pretty small.
right.
I'm looking at probably 8 to 10,000 really, but we'll say 15.
Do we get the property after doing all that, or does the guy get the property?
He still owns it, and we file a lien on it. And if he doesn't pay his taxes, which he does, But if he stops paying his taxes, it might go up for a foreclosure sale. And if nobody bids on it, we can get it.
Do you have him back in court? Because I see in last minutes, who told you to go back to court.
At this point, that's kind of like beating a dead horse, in my opinion. I haven't done it, I will if you want, but.
Well,
we're
I see in the
taking that.
minutes that you were asked to.
There's a car in the
I see that.
driveway, what happens with
I
that?
think I missed that.
I noticed that too, that there's a car in the driveway, what happens with that?
I
It's
was,
been there, has it moved?
I was gonna ask you, would it be possible for the village to have it towed over to his property where he's staying now? Just put it in that driveway?
If you can get a tower to do it,
Okay.
I mean, that's possible.
No, the tours are not going private property.
No, not without a court order or a sheriff, sheriff's deputy, which won't authorize that. So that's another loose end. These are never easy, you know, because of these complications.
Well, we could also give them a note to say if the car is moved by the time we demo, it goes in the dumpster too.
In the future.
Could we get?
Yeah,
We clear the whole property, what we do,
Can you, I don't know, since it's complicated and he's not responsive, but is there a way to motivate him to gift it to the village?
I can ask, but he has been totally unresponsive for the better part of the year.
Yeah.
And he used to talk to me. I mean, he used to actually, we'd have conversations about it.
I've talked to him as well in the past, so just because I knew we were having a meeting tonight, I dialed his number that I have saved in my phone and it didn't answer.
We have an address which appears to be a good one in Seville. And there are people interested in possibly buying his property. And so I've given them all his contact information, and I don't think they've gotten an answer either. But the process of, I mean, he will still own it after the debt if it's demolished. But if he doesn't pay, it'll end up in foreclosure eventually. And if no one bids on it for taxes, it can be the village's property, but it's a long process. So that's the best answer I can give you.
That's a good one.
And as far as citing him, do you really want me to do that? I mean, at this point, I'll be glad to. I see it in the minutes. I'm sorry, but.
You know, when I look at these kinds of scenarios, there seems to be a mental health issue involved that I'm just categorizing. Part of me says, be gracious to these people. The other side says, when you go into court in front of the magistrate, if they don't correct, we're gonna do it again next month. And tell them it'll be every month after that until it gets fixed, because it sounds like we have no recourse to these people. They just throw their hands up,
Right.
pay a fine, and then 24 months later, we're still dealing with it.
He has
Not getting
paid his
anything
fine.
correctly.
Well, at least you get to find money instead of spending
I've
it.
had him in court 6 times, and he's paid the fine every time.
So in 2018, I am seeing a substantial mortgage on the property.
Pardon?
I'm seeing a substantial mortgage on the property, it's not a small amount, from 2018.
2018, yeah, because what I have is a notice of assignment of that mortgage, and that was back in 2018.
Yeah, that's what I'm, yeah.
That's all I could find. So whether that's a live mortgage or not, I don't know, but they're gonna have to get notice if we're gonna demolish the property. It's, what is it? Specialized Loan Servicing LLC in Colorado.
I'm gonna try to get some contact information for them.
Well, I've got an address here. I mean, I'm sure I can find a number for them. And I can send them a notice at this address. So,
Do I keep Leslie posted on
sure,
what's happening?
absolutely.
So,
So-
nothing to answer on the taking them to court again or not? Council.
She didn't answer. Last month we told Alan to take him to court again? He's not done that yet. Do you want him to do it still?
No, let's proceed with getting dollar amount appraisals from contractors for the tear down expense and evaluate it once we have those numbers.
Do you want to take him to court in the meantime while you're doing all that?
No,
Everybody else agree with that?
Are we gonna put a tax lien on the work that's already been done by us as well?
Do we have a final bill?
Changing.
Can I have that? You email it to me.
Okay.
I'll prepare a meeting.
yeah, we can do
What
that.
it's worth.
Yeah, I'll give it to Gary.
Okay.
All right, the other thing I have is 227 Rustic, which is also an update from Alan,
Right.
with the, say Huntington Bank.
Right, and I was all ready to file charges. I have the paperwork done against Huntington Bank for not maintaining this property. When I got an email this week last week, from an attorney for Huntington who was saying, let them know if the property is vacant. They're ready to re-key it, winterize it, and clean it up. And as far as I know, the property is vacant. Nobody lives
There
there.
was a car in the driveway on the way here today,
There
a
was?
Lexus. Was parked in the driveway when I was walking up here tonight.
I've
No
heard-
lights on,
I've
but
heard he stays there at night,
Yeah,
works a lot.
there were no lights on or anything like that, but somebody contacted me last Monday and told me that they want to know about the utilities in the house, and I said it's all public utilities, nothing village monitored or managed.
all right.
And they informed me that they were gonna rekey it and start cleaning it up.
Who is?
Some lady, I wanna say it was from Huntington Bank.
Yeah, I got this email from an attorney for Huntington Bank. Because they haven't, they've owned the property for a while now.
They said they were gonna rekey it and
No,
bring in
since
a crew
October.
to clean it up.
Yeah, and I've written to them, made many, many phone calls, left messages, and this is the first response I've gotten.
But it could be if the guy has, let the property go, but he's squatting there.
Or if anybody is, they're gonna have to file an eviction, and that's gonna take more time.
Right.
But,
They can still do the outside cleanup. There's nothing to do with it.
yeah, I mean, that's all we care about here.
What did you say? I didn't,
They can do the outside cleanup even if someone's squatting, but I don't think anybody's there.
What explains the car then?
And there's been a car parked there forever, and
Yeah.
boat too.
oh, there was two cars. The
Oh,
one that's been there, the boat, and then a silver Lexus.
yeah, when I came up the hill there, I saw a younger, I'd call him a kid, probably 18 or 20, standing on the driveway talking on the phone. I didn't pay any attention to whether there was no lights on or anything like that in the house, so he may have just been.
He has a son that age.
Is that, it could have been him. Who knows? But, so we're nowhere on that limbo.
Well, I'm gonna have to tell them that we don't know if it's vacant or not. They're gonna have to do their own investigation and file an eviction. Because once we get an eviction order, they can go in the place, do what they need to do.
Yeah, that's their responsibility, not ours.
We're only concerned about the exterior.
Right. But I don't think they'll go on the property if there's somebody living there.
Can you forward that email to me?
Sure.
Okay. That's all I have.
So are we, gonna proceed with a demolition order on 9 Parkway Path?
Yes.
Yeah, there's no,
At least to the point of getting
quotes.
dollar amounts, quotes.
You gotta see how it responds to your adjudication.
I'm sorry?
Well, your adjudication letter, from Richard Nelson, that's January 20th or 25th.
Right, and I have the notice to post and serve on everybody if we're gonna go forward. And this doesn't mean we have to do it immediately. I mean, the notice gives them 30 days, because that's what our code says, I think. But,
I'm wanting to go forward as we talked about with budgeting, see how he responds to the adjudication letter and be ready for action in February.
yeah, that's what I'd recommend. So Jim, let me get your signature on this, and we'll go ahead with the notice.
Yeah.
So we'll be in a position to go ahead if we want to later. Okay?
Do we have anything else for zoning?
That's all I have.
Okay, we'll go on to community relations, Tampa.
Like Joanne said, the Christmas party was very successful. We had probably 35 kids here. I want to say thank you to Santa, the elves, everybody who came out to help that day. I also want to thank Bill McDonald's. They supplied the breakfast for us. This year, they did not only pancakes, as they have in the past, but they also did sausage gravy and biscuits, which was really nice. And those little pies, I don't know if anybody enjoys those. I had one, it was better when I was a kid.
They're made differently.
Yeah, they were a lot different. Maybe it's just taste changes as you get older. The only other thing that I have tonight is if anybody can start thinking about the newsletter that I'm gonna do in spring, I figure if I put it on your mind early, maybe I'll get some articles, information, or if anybody has anything that they think is noteworthy and wants to add to the newsletter, something that we don't have already, I'm more than willing to look into that. You can send me an email. Okay? And that's actually all I have this
I
month.
don't anticipate that anything would change for my utilities.
I don't know either. A lot of it does stay the same, but there's always updates and different things like that.
Well, the newsletter's coming out too late, but the polar bear is February 3rd, right? It is the
Correct.
3rd, right? I was thinking it's 4th. So, any of you that, want to jump, let us know. And if you don't want to jump, it's always fun to come watch.
You can run, you can walk.
And we'll have a couple
Watch.
short road closings that day here and there. Okay, buildings and utilities, Barb.
So on that note, Alan, you usually use the building a few times for last minute preparation meetings.
Yeah, January 31st, on Wednesday, 7 o'clock would be my next schedule.
That should be good. What time?
7 o'clock.
Okay. That'll work. Not much going on. Took the fire extinguishers in to ABC to get checked and recertified. And they're re-tagged and they're done. I left the receipt at home, but you might be, anything that it's through Cintas now instead of ABC. So I checked and they said that our tax exempt was still on file, but they charge tax anyways. So they said that we'll have a $4 credit when we bring them in next year. So we'll see if that happens.
You can pay it less the sales tax.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just don't pay it.
So, and they wouldn't do the billing, so I actually had to pay it. They don't bill it anymore, so I paid it. So I'll just give you the receipt and get reimbursed minus the tax, I suppose. Several streetlights were reported and corrected, and I was sort of kind of crossing my fingers, but in the past, a couple on Chippewa Road had gone out on the westbound side of Chippewa, the north side of Chippewa Road, and they replaced it with LEDs, even though it's technically Lafayette Township. So I reported the one at the corner of Briarwood and Lake, which is on the northbound side of Lake Road, on the east side of the road, which is the township, and they will replace that with a 150 watt high pressure sodium. They won't replace it with a LED because it's in the township. I do believe the one directly across from the Village Inn was replaced with an LED. A couple other along Long Acre were technically in the township, so they replaced them just as they were. And then the ones that were reported in the village were corrected within just quick turnaround considering the holiday and vacations and stuff. I don't know, what do you think? One more week with the lights on the building and I'll disconnect all that? I'm not gonna take them down now, but one more week unless you think that it looks nice and we'll leave them up.
Thanks for doing that.
I mean, they're
it looks
LEDs,
nice
so they're
when you
not,
come up the road, you see the building all online.
leave them up in a couple more weeks then. Brings a little bit of light to the village in a dreary winter time, I guess. I think that's it.
Barbara, I have a question.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this or if you ever heard of this, but is there some kind of a, like, you know, so many houses on a street, how many streetlights there should be?
No, I don't know that there's any regulation for that, because actually, on Rockridge, they just replaced one at Richard and Rockridge, right by the Elias house. And there's 3 lights, probably within 75 meters. And I actually was gonna have the middle light removed. I was gonna ask Ohio Edison to remove that light and
Or move it?
remove it, because there's 3 LEDs within 75 meters. And there's one at Richard, and then the next one, what is that, south of that? Cottage Cove. And then there's one right in front of Helene's house. And she said, no, we want that one to stay there. They like the light. And then I saw Mr. Elias as I was walking by, and he said, oh, thanks for getting that light fixed, we really like that. So there's some places where there's 1 or 2 street lights.
Yeah, I know, I'm just wondering, I understand that.
I checked into, I know you had mentioned that you wanted one over there,
Yeah.
but they said
It's so
that the
dark,
pole,
it's so dark.
they said that pole there by your house is not,
Tell a.
it's not the right size to put a mast arm and a light on it.
Same size as all the rest of them. That's
so-
okay, I just want,
Yeah.
if there's some regulation.
No, I don't know
you
how,
like, you know.
maybe, Mayor, maybe you know, because your husband did stuff like that, but
I know our street could use another one between my house and the corner, which sounds ridiculous since there's one right there on the lakefront.
Right.
You could take it from the
It's
corner of
totally
Greenville
dark.
and Chippewa.
It's so dark by the end of our road, and you really notice like Halloween, stuff like
Yeah.
that, totally dark.
Don't like the blue light? No,
I mean-
that's right in my backyard.
got one on each end of my property, you could have one.
that's what I mean, people either love them or hate them. I mean, Mr. Elias and, I don't know Helene's last name.
It's cool.
I mean, they love it, and
I
I've
think
asked,
most people like to have the light.
I've had people ask me, what do they need to do to get rid of the old light and get one of those LEDs put up? I mean, I've had people
Tell
ask
them to
me,
shoot their light out.
I can't tell them that directly, not officially,
Just relay it from the mayor.
but, and I mean, people, I think if we took a poll of the village, people, I think it'd be 50-50. People love them, people hate them. I mean, it's impossible, we're not gonna make everybody happy.
No, you can't even try.
It's impossible. The surest thing, the surest way to fail is try to please everybody.
Just wondering. Thanks.
Sorry. I'll get you a flashlight. I had this really
Good solar light.
nice rechargeable headlamp.
They don't work in the winter.
Okay, you got anything else for,
I think I'm good.
then Ken, Parks?
I don't have a whole lot. The town hall playground rehab project is complete. So that's positive. Looks great. We removed and replaced the borders. Fresh pea gravel been laid down. Of course, we have an ADA compliant wheelchair ramp, so that's a big improvement. Yeah.
That probably really needs to go because it's going into a gravel pit.
But it's.
You are not gonna be able to move a wheelchair in that gravel pit. It is not gonna happen. A stroller's not gonna move in that gravel pit.
Well, maybe it's not just for.
It's a bike ramp.
Oh, boy.
You're probably,
Well, let's see what
It
happens.
probably needs to go.
We'll keep on surveillance, we'll see what happens.
what does it go to?
I was
Is it-
worried about
It
that.
goes from the
What does
grassy,
it go to that a handicapped person would use? I know we don't have.
Into the
a
gravel
handicap-
pit.
It goes into where the jungle gym is at.
Mhm. But it's not only
I mean, we
for-
don't have anything in that playground area that is wheelchair accessible.
Well, scratch the wheelchair idea, just somebody, a handicapped person walking, that maybe they can't, they can't get up over it like that. This is nice, smooth. Now, if we start having trouble with the kids
Okay.
and their bikes, then we'll revisit at that point. I was a little worried about that. So I guess we'll see what happens. I figured since we're gonna do the job, may as well do it right and add it to it. It wasn't that much of a cost, but we'll see. I'm not opposed to taking it out if all of a sudden.
Do we have another section to?
No, I think we have some extra ones. If not, it's not expected, you just, they connect. So it would be easy to do that.
Cause it's, yeah.
And we are, like I said, the rehab project is completed. Earlier, if everyone remembers, earlier in the summer, we had it painted and reinforced. So everything should be good. We should be good on that playground for a while. A lot of the playgrounds and the park areas have been in decline for many years. So that's kind of the goal, is to, just get them back and working. At least they're safe and whatnot. We're tackling the Bungalow Bay playground rehab project in the spring. So that's the next job, and we budgeted for that. So that should work. Other than that, like I said, I don't have a whole lot. It's gonna get crazy in the spring, but we're still looking for a new beach manager. I have a few people in mind, but it's out there if anyone has some ideas. So.
What about Kelsey's grandma?
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I'm just here to observe.
Well,
She
you
raised her
just
hand.
observed that. What about Kelsey?
I know somebody that could train you. I know someone that could train you on the job, so.
I second the motion.
Second motion.
She doesn't respond to my text. I can't imagine her texting 15 kids or.
It's easy, just put them in a group
Well, give you
text.
something to do. You can stay in your house and order kids around. As opposed to chasing them.
They're getting ready to vote for you.
I can talk to you about it, but I don't know.
Okay, all right. Other than that, anyone have any questions, parks related? That's it.
Okay, now we will go to Bud's first street report.
Streets.
We had a bridge inspection this fall, and we got an okay report. That was an ODOT mandated bridge inspection. The bridge is, I think we did that in 2012, thereabouts. So no corrective action required. McCabe Creek project, the bank stabilization is finally finished, looks nice. Catch basin in front of the mayor's house has been replaced and repaired. And July of this year, we have a potential road project start, but the funds have not been released. And we have not received a formal letter saying we have the money. And I doubt that we get one. We'll get the money, but it probably won't involve a letter.
Really? Is that phase 9?
Phase 9.
Yeah,
Then we'll give you a letter.
Medina County doesn't do it. They don't give out letters. Lorraine County and other respectable counties do, but Medina doesn't. So it's speculation at best, but we think we got the grant. But just to be sure, we aren't spending any money on these grants, don't come in till July. So we're not gonna start anything like, put out bids for the road work or anything until we're positive we have the money, because we don't wanna get stuck having to pay this money
Correct.
if we don't get it. So rumor has it that we got our grant for Brookshire, this lower part of Brookshire, which we've been trying to get for 3 years. So hopefully they're right, but time will tell, I guess, because Medina County ain't fun.
And that concludes my report.
Wow, okay, good job.
All right.
Anybody have any questions for streets? Okay, then we will go to the law director.
I've got, actually had one case in court, and that's closed now because we had a change of plea. Last Friday, defendant was found guilty of disorderly conduct and has to pay fine and costs of $450. I was gonna file a Huntington Bank case, but I'm waiting on that until they figure out what they're gonna do. I filed the applications, which could be filed after January 1st, to lower the tax value of 15 properties that the village owns. So that should come along as they process it. And beyond that, this has been discussed at a couple meetings. There are 8 vacant lots on Chippewa Road that the village owns. They're all between Garmin and Points East. And these, most of these are, well, a couple are singles, others are more. And there's 2 lots behind them that are vacant and attached to them. And it was discussed about making these non-buildable, which you could do. And all you need to do is have a deed from the village to the village, which contains deed restrictions, just like the lakefront and other parts. So they could be made non-buildable, and that was an idea in order to preserve their open space quality. And the question is that something council is interested in? I mean, there was talk of putting some up for auction. There was talk of a lease.
Swampland, isn't it?
Most of it.
Yeah, I don't think it's very desirable land. I don't know about utilities. You could probably run them from across the street on Chippewa Road, under the road. I don't think there's any utility connection on that side.
Here's what I researched on those 2 parcels that we discussed, so if that's
Okay,
in there is
great.
all the lease information for the gas and oil house.
Okay, great, thank you.
What would the cost be for us to put those deed restrictions on there?
I put them in one deed that I would prepare, not much. And the recording for that would be probably around $50 to record
For each lot or for the whole?
for the whole thing. So it's pretty simple. And since the village created it, the village could remove it, but nobody else.
If you ever decided to sell those parcels, then would they all have to sell as a whole? Because,
No,
okay, so
No,
you
they
could put the deed restrictions on all of them in one document, but you could sell them separately.
sure. And you could take deed restrictions off on any one or more.
Yeah, I was asking because there's parcels between some of them that are owned by someone else.
Yeah, there's 4 parcels between. But if it's something you want to do, I mean, at some day you might be made to answer, or your successors, why do we do it? And I suppose the easiest answer is to preserve green space and open land in the village.
I think it'd be appropriate.
By themselves, none of them is buildable, but there are a few that could be linked with another lot.
That would stabilize that entire section.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about.
I would support that as well.
So make a motion to move forward with the deed restrictions to make them non-buildable?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed?
Okay, will do. That's all I had to report.
Notice that we're about to beach agreement.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't have a clean copy of this, because I wasn't sent one.
You might want to explain that, and I think maybe some councilmen,
Right,
I mean, it was 10 years ago.
yeah, the village is leased the lakefront at the beach and the boat ramp,
Clarify, that's the water.
the water and the lakefront. I mean, where the water meets the land, and the water out there where the dock goes and the beach and the boat ramp, et cetera. It's leased by the park district to the village, And it's leased so the village has total control over that area, responsibility to keep it up, how the village can build improvements on it, if they're allowed by deed restrictions with the park district's consent. And the village has law enforcement authority in that area from the park district on their behalf. And it's a 10-year lease at no cost. And this came up 10 years ago.
And this is the same lease as we had 10 years ago, right? The only change is that it goes to probate court for approval.
Yeah, and I guess they realized that as the park district, they need approval from the probate court for leasing or selling property. But it is the same lease, a couple typos in it that I can get them to fix. And it really allows you to operate your beach and your boat ramp.
I think we should proceed with it.
Did they send us the new copy? Or
I got a
did we-
copy. I'm not sure where I got it.
They sent us an email.
Yeah, and they prepared a new lease based on the old lease.
They said they were supposed to actually get this done last year, but somehow it got missed.
Right.
No, nothing's changed.
No, and the agreement has.
The only change is what he said in there is that it has to be approved by probate court, which I guess most of their stuff at the park district does.
Yeah,
It's
they're
not like
answerable.
a big deal.
Right.
We did another
Otherwise,
10.
it's exactly the same as what we've had.
Right.
What did you say, Bud?
It's another
The judge
10 years.
does get it.
It's another 10 years.
Another 10-year lease?
Mark?
Any chance we could bump that up to like 99 years so we don't have to worry about it?
I tried before, I think it was a 20-year lease at one point, but maybe
I
I'm
thought it was
thinking
too,
of
but
Gloria
they-
House.
I don't trust.
They haven't had it 20 years. We've only had it since 2008.
Okay,
I thought we had 20 years off.
right. Well, I can ask, no harm in asking.
I would definitely ask for a longer time period,
Yeah,
any amount.
so we don't have to do this so often.
Yeah, we're getting worn out doing this.
Yeah, we are. Eye strain. But I don't see a downside to this. I mean, you need it and it doesn't cost you anything.
So did you make a motion?
I did.
I second that.
Well, I think we should have an ordinance for this because it's a 10-year lease.
I thought we were gonna ask them to make it a longer lease.
Can you try to make it 99 years, Ellen?
Do this?
It's only a question.
I did ask that.
Well, I'll be here to see if it works.
We'll never be able to see it.
Either here or in the Glens, I asked that and was told, no, that's way too long.
I think we should put in there, that they can't put a restriction on splashing.
Okay, no splash.
That might come down the pipe.
No cannonballs.
I would recommend we go forward with it, with the ordinance. Alan can,
Try to get more time.
look into extending the time period.
Well, let's have a first reading of the ordinance then.
Yeah,
And then we'll find out how long it'll give us.
let's do
All right? So this would be ordinance 893-24.
Got the right village.
Yes. 893
-24, okay. So this is the first reading of ordinance 893-24, which is an ordinance approving the lease agreement between the village and the Medina County Park District for certain areas of shoreline and the lake. And I'll write it up, I'll talk to them.
Okay.
And let you know.
Extend it out as far as we can.
Yeah, I'll let you know by email.
Very good.
And I think that's all I have to report on, isn't it?
Yeah, now so we don't want to waive the 3 readings?
We're not gonna pass it now because we don't know how long it is.
Okay.
We want more time.
Okay, we will go on to finance, Gary.
Everybody sign in tonight, whoever's here, hopefully. Thank you.
Extend it. Here.
On Saturday, I distributed the December bank reconciliation report to council, reflecting all accounts and balances. Any questions or comments? We have a motion approving the December bank reconciliation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. On Saturday, I also delivered to all of council the December appropriations report. Any questions or comments on appropriations through the end of December? May I have a motion approving that.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Alan Michelson, can we redirect donated monies that were for the tree planting on the beach in the amount of $231.95 to beach improvements, since all donations were in cash and no means were obtained?
Yes.
Great. I'll transfer those monies accordingly. December
It
20th.
still don't mean we don't want a tree. Just so you guys
Yes,
know.
it does.
Okay, I'll tell him.
Some of us want it.
On December 26th, I sent council a copy of the Medina County Directory of Public Officials, where I had to fill in information for Chippewa Lake. I didn't get any feedback, so I presume everything I've got on there is okay to submit to the county. That was sent to you December 26th.
Okay, here.
All right, if there is an issue, call me before I send it. I'll wait till the end of this week to send it. I'll send it in Friday if I don't hear anything. Tamitha, I need you to stay after to fill out new paperwork. This will be so that you are an approved signatory to the village on the checks.
Okay.
Thank you. On Saturday, I delivered the proposed banking and investment policy to the mayor, the finance committee, and I copied council. I did receive feedback from the committee with changes, so I will plan to have that revised policy able to be voted on at the February meeting. I'll first, of course, copy the committee members and the mayor to make sure they're satisfied with the changes.
That's the one typo.
Oh,
Section 7.
Section 7, typo, okay. Thank you. Okay. On Saturday, I delivered to council balance of monies report on ARPA and endowment accounts. With the completion of the McCabe Creek project and the replacement of the catch basin on Bass Bay, we still have $91.38 available out of those ARPA monies. If council agrees, I can apply this amount against the December road salting invoice. I just need a motion to allow me to do that.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed?
Okay, that'll zero out the ARPA account. All monies will be used. On the endowment fund, we still have $6,700 available and not yet committed or assigned to any project. For the park portion of the endowment fund, all $22,500 was spent and there's a zero balance. So that 6,700 was originally going to be used for Reese's Pond renovation. I think the quote came in at quite a bit more than that.
$171,000 change.
Wow. Slow ball.
So that $6,700 remains available in the endowment fund. Any questions on the endowment funds or ARPA monies? Okay. Saturday, I delivered to council a document pertaining to the general fund that finances every department, nearly 100%, except for streets. In that document, I just cautioned council about the need for year-end carryovers and to watch overall spending levels to avoid any serious reduction in future monies available for spending. If you lower your carryover, then you lower the amount of money you're going to be able to spend next year. So be aware, be cautious. Council, of course, can ask me questions at any time about this, and as always, I make myself available to meet with anyone on council as a member, an individual member, or as a group of members of council. Late this afternoon, I sent all of council a preliminary financial summary report for 2023 finances, reflecting my opinion, the solid financial footing that the village has. Council can ask me any questions about that report at any time. I'm in the process of closing the month and closing the year. That's going to take another 2 to 3 weeks to complete. So that's why I issued a preliminary report, but I do not anticipate any significant changes from what I provided to council. Any questions on the preliminary financial?
Where are you in the audit cycle from the state?
Waiting to be contacted by state.
When's the last full audit we had?
There was never one while I was here, and I've been here 6 years now.
So we're getting there.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Actually, when they called me for the audit last time, they said, do you want a full audit? I said, well, it's fine with me. I'll leave it up to you, Miss Auditor, and she decided to not do the full audit. So we're ready for them, whenever they want to do it.
Well, thank you, Gary. That speaks well to your reporting and activities on that area. So if they snub the problem, it would be that.
Yes, they'd be on it pretty quick. But thank you for that. Appreciate it. As of the end of December, the balance of the primary checking account, $226,037.25. Money market, $255,119.06. And Star Ohio, $105,849.15. Total, $587,105.46. One of the interesting things in that financial report was that we made over $10,000 of interest last year between Star Ohio, money market, and primary.
Wow, good job.
So that wasn't too bad. And that was before we got the bump on the interest rate. So that bump on the interest rate took place, I think, in October. So it's helped quite a bit. Any questions or comments on monies?
Good job, Gary.
No?
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that. That's all that I have for finance.
Okay, does anybody have any old business?
A little bit of a siren report. I was at a conference. I apologize, I thought it was in my good notes, but there's some of our Congress people have like a discretionary budget activity, like a Sharon Ray may have a pot of money to her area. And so what I wanted to do is I'll give direction to Mayor Dodaro to do a reach out to Sharon Ray and maybe another legislator, seeing if they would consider any amount of our siren budget for within their criteria. That wouldn't come in until July of this year, July 1, but seemed to be a good ask. Park District has been a big beneficiary of that kind of stuff, and I think we can maybe ride the coattails on that.
And the EMA has a new director, Fazio's not there anymore.
I guess not, which is,
Ben, is his name?
do you know?
I don't know him, I heard him speak at the county commissioners meeting. Really good information too, if anybody has free time on Tuesdays at 9:30, it's live on Facebook, the county commissioner meetings are really good information.
Our siren did work to some degree on Saturday. It came on at 12:09 instead of noon.
Right.
And it sounded kind of sick. But it was a siren, and it was the one that they would put on during the storm, where it was just one solid noise. So I have no idea who knows what's going on there. But Christine Fazio is not there anymore, so I don't know whether the new person took interest in it or not. Maybe we should find out. I mean, it hasn't worked in months.
Well, I did, Janelle, who is head of dispatch that activates it, I did receive her report from all of the County. I did email her asking if something had changed other than weather, which seems to be the key thing. Nothing's changed. I will reach out to the new EMA guy and see where that goes. He had been an acting director. Christine is now with, I'm gonna say, Lorraine County Community College in some capacity. So maybe we'll restart with that group. Matt Stern is good. EMA gets involved with Polar Bear because the fire department uses their heated hazmat tents for changing areas. So there is a relationship going on there with other departments.
Well, we're trying to pursue it a little bit, just.
No, I'll be glad to do that. I'll introduce myself. Matt Sturgeon's been my primary contact, and he's a good guy. Maybe reach out through him to get an introduction. Or maybe bring the new guy to us and have him present.
Give him a free jump in the lake.
This is a charity fundraising.
Well, I know, but you want to clutter the guy up, so you want to get a free jump in the lake.
I'll match that. Thank you. Okay, thank you. I'll reach out to him.
Okay. Okay, we'll go to the audience, Mark. Wow. Bill?
Okay.
Kelly?
I just get such a kick out of all of you. Thank you.
Lisa? Misha? Misha, you gonna take that job? Think about it.
I think she's thinking about it.
I think she is too. JB, how's your leg? You feeling good?
I'm good, I'm good.
Good. Pam? Dennis? Wow.
This sponsor has a serious eye surgery coming up on Friday, so whatever I think about it.
Who's that? Okay, good luck to you.
Thank you. New cornea.
Okay, do you have any new business? Actually, I have old business here. Make sure you guys all pay Barb, remember, last month?
Oh.
Square,
Okay, now, new business. Anybody have new business?
make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There you go. Oh, Leslie, did you